cigarettes, food, and unhealthy relationships. I was addicted to each of them at one point in my life. An addiction can be with anything that you feel you can't live without. And a habit has formed, and if you do not fulfill that habit on a daily or every other day basis, life does not feel like it's worth living, and so you will do whatever it takes to make sure that you can sustain, or that you can do that habit, I should say. Addiction. Let's start with my journey with cigarettes. I started smoking when I was 11, 12 years old. Mainly out of peer pressure, of course, wanting to be cool. Because when I first took the cigarette to my mouth and I smoked it, I choked for like 5 minutes. And that also shows me, as I reflect in life, that, at that point I didn't even want to smoke. I hate it. It was like horrible, but I wanted to be cool, so I made myself be able to endure the smoke and then eventually get addicted to it. But then my mind had convinced me that, Sam, you can't live without this. You don't want to live without this. That's what my mind said to myself. The same thing, though, that at one time, I wanted nothing to do with. My body didn't like it. I didn't like it. I just did it to be cool. Addiction, the power of the mind, plays a huge part. But first, when you get physically addicted, and let's take cigarettes as an example in my life. Started, let's just say, at the age of 12. Starting on a weekend basis, and then, of course, leading up to just about every day. And I want to say in my mid-20s, so let's say 25, I wanted to stop smoking. So when I wanted to stop smoking, or when I felt like, well, I don't even want to say I wanted to stop. I felt like this isn't right. It's hurting me, and you always knew it wasn't right. But as you get older, you realize that a lot of things you did in your youth, you don't have the room for error anymore. Because as you get older, you have less room to do reckless stuff, and you have to watch your habits and behavior. So the first thing I'll say about breaking any addiction is that you have to want to do it. You have to want to do it. And I've been, with family members, etc., friends, different AA programs and everything, and that's always the number one. If that person doesn't want to do it, doesn't matter. You have to want to do it. That being said, I have compassion, because then even when you want to do it, there's a journey, and that's why I want to share this journey. So then when I got my mid-20s, I said, all right, I want to do something. I wasn't ready to fully mentally accept full quit. Because in my mind had convinced me that life is not enjoyable enough without cigarettes. Meaning I couldn't see my future without a Corona and a Newport. I said, I'm going to be at the bar, I'll be drinking, I'll have a Hennessy, and I'll just want that Newport. I have my coffee in the morning, and I'll just need that cigarette. I can't see my life without it. It makes life a little bit more enjoyable. I don't want to really fully quit. So I knew I needed to do something, but I wasn't ready to make the full commitment. So I played the game back and forth. I'll only smoke on weekends. I'll only smoke with my coffee. I'll only smoke when I drink. I played that game for a little bit. And then you realize, and I'm not against that, but then you'll realize that you have to fully say, I'm done. Even if you can't see your life without it, even if you can't see life enjoyable without it, you have to have faith. I remember praying, asking God, I said, God, help me get rid of this thing. Because I knew, I said, I really don't want to, Lord. I don't want to get rid of these cigarettes. I like them. But help me, because I know it's not good for me. I know it's not healthy. And I just went back and forth. I fell, I got up, I threw cigarettes in the garbage, and a couple hours later, I'm crawling in the garbage, I'm getting cigarettes. So I want to shed light on, know that it's okay to not see your life without something and still try to quit it. Meaning that you may say, this cigarette, it's my life's too enjoyable with it. I don't want to live my life without it. But you know it's unhealthy. You know it's causing more harm than good. Your mind has convinced you that something that is causing you more suffering than joy is happiness, and that you can't see your life without it, even though it's causing you more suffering. That's deception. And that's unhealthy behavior. And that's what happens. The mind has convinced us to self-destruct. It's very powerful. Because physically, for most things, it only takes your body 3 days without it to fully detox. Meaning, after 3 days without that drug or without that habit, your body has physically come off the addiction. Now, after 3 days, it's just mentally. It's just a mental game. And that really helped me once I understood that. And then, you have to understand, it takes about 21 days, or let's just say 3 weeks, to form new habits. So the first 3 weeks are really the key. If you can sustain 3 weeks without something and form new good habits, meaning if you drink your coffee, you have a couple of raw nuts or something to fulfill the need, and you play music, you get your mind off it. After 3 weeks, if you can form that new habit, you have sustained a new lifestyle. Then you will fall again. Okay? That's what happens. You will go 3 weeks, you'll form new habits, you'll break the thing, and then 2-3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, you're going to fall. You're going to fail. You're going to be in a bar, you're going to be doing something stressful, or you're just going to want to do it, and you're going to smoke a cigarette, or you're going to do whatever the addiction is. Part of the journey of overcoming something is getting past the physical and mental part of it initially. That first 3 weeks is the incubator state. You know how some people say, how girls say, like when they're pregnant, they don't want to reveal that they're pregnant because the first few weeks are very important, that they don't have a miscarriage, and then they don't have to tell everybody, well, I couldn't do it, or it didn't happen right, or whatever it is. It's the same thing when you're starting a new lifestyle, when you're giving birth to it. Initially, it's like the first few weeks, the thing is like, it's so fragile that you can't even tell anybody, because it's like there's so much pressure on you to give birth to this new way of living. But then once you get past a certain stage, then you build your confidence. But then giving birth is painful. And I'm using that as a parable because you're going to fail. You're going to fail again. I want you to know that's okay. Because the other step to overcoming anything in life, any addiction, any bad habit, any bad behavior, is if you fall, you get up. The godly may trip 7 times, but they will get up again. God's grace. You keep receiving it, and you keep getting forward. You keep being honest about whatever you're falling at. That's in regards to really it's my journey. And now I'm 37. I haven't smoked in over 10 years. I don't have any desire to, and I don't even want to be around it. And it's to show it. Now I don't even want to be around cigarettes. And at one time, I can't see my life without it. I always go. And it's the mind has convinced us, and it's understandable because it's not when the mind has full control of our body and soul. Oh, it's dangerous. You're gonna go some wild places. Let me tell you something. And that's why I have compassion on people that lose it, because I see how it happens. It's very sad. All right. The other thing I want to share is that's, any type of physical addiction. And that also applies to food. Okay? That also applies to food. Food is an addiction. Unhealthy food, sugar and salt are addictive properties. Don't let anybody tell you. That's why they had that commercial when they had at one time back in the day with potato chips. Their slogan on this potato chip company was, I bet you can't eat just one. They knew you couldn't eat just one because they loaded so much sodium, so much salt in that thing that they knew you were going to be addicted. As soon as you put your hand there, you eat one chip, you'd eat the whole bag, and then you'd buy another bag. And that was their business model. Make the food so addictive that the person can't control themselves. There's no self-control, and they keep buying more crap. And then they can't get off it because they're hooked. Unhealthy food that's high in sugar and salt, very addictive, very addictive. And the same thing. At one time in my life, I said, this is what makes life worth living. I go get my fried chicken, I go get some chips and fries, I sit in front of my big screen TV and I watch football, and it's like, if I can't do that, then life's not worth living. It brings a little bit of happiness to life. And to some extent it does, until it brings more suffering than joy. And it will. Unhealthy food, one of the biggest things that'll destroy you. It's underrated. You can get past it, and you will experience a greater level of joy being healthy. I'm telling you, I thought it was a bunch of bullshit, but it's true. It is true. If you can apply the same principle I told you with cigarettes, 3 days without any garbage, then establish 3 weeks of new habits, meaning that if every day after work you go to the Chinese spot to get General Tso's chicken, instead of doing that, you have You know what I mean, like a sweet potato at home with a salad and beans, etc. And it's already at home prepared. And you just have to, you can't let yourself stop at the whole Chinese spot or whatever. You know what I mean, the pizzeria, whatever. You got to go right home. Once you form those habits over 3 weeks, you've broken that addiction, both mind, body, because your body's not physically addicted anymore, and you form new habits. It takes about 21 days to form new habits. And then you'll start to feel better about yourself, because it takes about 6 weeks for your body to start to reshape. So it's going to take a little bit, and that's why most people give up in the first month and month and a half, because it really takes a couple months for your body to reshape. And then once you see progress, you'll get excited, and you'll keep making progress towards being a healthier you. But then once you do that in 2-3 months, and you've actually done it, and you say, "Wow, this is amazing! It is true," you're going to fall again. 4 months down the road, you're going to be at a pizzeria, you're going to be stressed out at work, you're going to go right to the Chinese spot, you're going to get 2 General Tso's chicken, then you're going to go to the pizzeria, get a large mushroom pie, some fried chicken, and you're going to go home, and you're going to stuff yourself to the point that you're leaned over on the side of your bed in 2X sweatpants, and you don't know how you got there. That's what happens. And then you're going to wake up and you're going to have a breakfast sandwich. But if you fall, you get back up. That's the key. That first month is key. You got to get past that. Then, once you get past it, know that eventually you're going to fall again. But if you fall, you get up and you get progressively better. That's how you overcome an addiction. Final thing I want to talk about. Unhealthy relationship. It's an addiction too. Believe me, at night, when you're looking at your phone, there's certain people you have to text. After a certain while, when you're hooked, you're like, "Oh my God, they didn't text me. I didn't text them." And it's an addiction. It's an addiction. My advice, in my opinion, in my experience, you have to go, before you can even think about being friends, after, if somebody unequally likes you or you unequally like them, 3 months, no contact. I mean, no contact. I don't care if there is an asteroid coming to the Earth, you don't text them to see if they're okay. That's the type of no contact I'm talking about. If Jesus comes back, or whatever you believe, any other religion you believe, if Armageddon is here, is what I'm saying. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. If Armageddon's coming, you don't even text them to say, "I love you and I hope we both go up to heaven." You don't even do that. No contact for at least 3 months, so that you can get yourself around the idea of not being with them and living a life and finding your own joy and not finding it through them. 3 months of no contact will help you overcome an unhealthy relationship. Until then, you're just playing ping pong. You're just playing ping pong, and you won't be able to move forward with your life. And that's dangerous. I've been there. I understand. I have compassion. After 3 months, if you can get past that by the grace of God with no contact, just know there'll be a point in that journey where you'll fail again. But you fall, you get up. And if you can repeat that, I'm giving you a general structure based on my own life experience. If you can repeat that structured habit, ask God for help. I believe in the grace of God, because you're going to need some grace. I believe you can overcome an addiction. I have many. Whether it's cigarettes, whether it's food, whether it's unhealthy relationships, or you can apply it to anything in your life. I remember being at an AA meeting one time with a friend, and one lady said, "Cigarettes is harder to quit than crack." Studies show some sugar is more addictive than cocaine. So, you can't just say, one addiction is harder than the other. And it's certainly different for different people, but I want to shed light and I want to expose that you can do it. That's how I've partly done it in sharing my journey, and I hope this blessed and encouraged you. Don't feel bad about yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Hang with positive people. That's key also. And play your music. Get inspiration. Idle time is the devil's playground, and that's the worst thing in trying to overcome something bad. Idle time. And stay busy, stay productive, play your music. Break that addiction with the grace of God, and stay inspired.